Back in January of this year, I happened to see footage of an indie game on my Threads feed. I reposted it saying the trailer was a masterclass in taking me from haven't heard of this to inject this into my veins immediately in under 30 seconds. That game was Europa. Initially planned to release in April, it was instead delayed until October 11th. I filled out a form for the chance to receive a review code, but assumed I wasn't selected when I hadn't heard anything by release day. But, less than an hour before the game went live on Steam, I saw the subject line of an email notification on my phone. Your review access to Ghibli inspired adventure Europa out now. I was stunned. I still am a bit stunned, honestly. So thank you once again to Helder Pinto and the team at Novaburst, as well as the publishers at Future Friends Games, for giving me this opportunity. As you may expect based on that email, Europa wears its Ghibli influence proudly on its sleeve. The vibrant environments are teeming with wildlife, both organic and inorganic. You can stand on the back of a turtle, watch deer scurry off as you approach, and see an unholy amount of frogs hopping about at your feet. Too many frogs. Starting in one of the earlier chapters, you'll even get the chance to stop and make sketches of the various wildlife in this fallen utopia. From a gameplay perspective, Europa falls neatly in line with what I'll call narrative adventure games. Think Journey, Abju, and Omno. The main selling point of all these games is the combination of evocative visuals and soundtrack with light puzzle solving and low stakes exploration. In that sense, Europa is largely very successful. I found myself smiling wistfully at the screen on many occasions throughout my 3.5 hour playthrough. I mean, come on. The music helps to emphasize the combination of beauty and mystery on display as you navigate ruins that have been steadily reclaimed by nature. Music, this is just magic, y'all. This is what indie games so. As with a lot of first outings for developers, there are a couple of rough edges to be seen. The movement in camera can be a bit wonky at times, particularly in moments where the camera is scripted to shift perspective in ways that make it difficult to see where you're trying to move. Additionally, the animation for Z being knocked down, then slowly standing back up, gives enemies the perfect amount of time to fire off another shot, leaving you with a fraction of a second to move before the overlong animation begins again. Despite some flaws, Europa leaves a lasting impression. The visuals and music are truly beautiful, but the game's brevity also serves it well. Nothing overstays its welcome here. If you find yourself not as invested in a particular area, it won't be long before you've solved the necessary puzzles to move on to the next. This means that even those frustrating moments with enemies are only a brief setback in an otherwise pleasant journey. The game itself also touches on poignant themes of brevity. In an early game narration, Z's father laments that one of the problems back on the homeworld was that people cannot be bothered to think beyond tomorrow. Without taking the larger picture into account, people are doomed to create things that won't last. A flaw that seems to have repeated itself judging by the game's own description of exploring a fallen utopia. These themes of brevity are woven in nicely with contemplations on the relationship between ourselves and nature. After all, if nature is what reclaims our failed attempts at utopia, perhaps we have something much deeper to learn about the persistence of nature other than how best to exploit it. Europa is a brief yet memorable indie journey. The Ghibli-inspired visuals are immediately endearing and remain so throughout its short runtime. The accompanying soundtrack and narrative mystery make it easy to recommend for pretty much anyone. If you could use a beautiful world to escape into for a while to forget your troubles, look no further than Europa. Thank you once again to the teams at Novaburst and Future Friends Games for giving me this opportunity. What are some of your favorite narrative adventure games? Let me know in the comments. And as always, play what you love and love what you play.